everybody, and welcome to the May 9th edition of the Raw Review here on my channel. I'm going to get down to the usual Monday night stuff. First of all, I'm going to talk about what everybody seems to be talking about and everybody seems to be pissed about, including myself, and that is the way Christian got royally screwed on SmackDown after winning the World Heavyweight title at Extreme Rules. Now, watching Wrestling Jesus's take on the whole thing on his Team YWC channel there, and basically they were like, we should all get over it, and everybody did what they were supposed to do. Orton was told to win, Christian was told to lose, and that's it, and the day goes on, which is true. But there's three things to think about here. Number one, you think about the reasons that Christian got to have a chance with the world title. There's one of two. Either they're finally recognizing Christian's contributions after, what, like 15 or something years in wrestling, and giving him the ball, or they are doing it to pay some sort of backhanded tribute to Edge. Either way, one, if they're doing it to pay to recognize all the contributions of Christian over the course of the 15 years, how much of a slap in the face is that? Okay, SmackDown's supposedly on Friday, but we all know it happens on Tuesdays. It gets taped and it's shown on Friday, whatever. So the guy got to hold the title for 2 fucking days. This is what we think of your contribution to wrestling. And that, if that is the case, if that is their reasoning, he should have stayed in TNA where he was their world champion and going up against fucking Kurt Angle. Because you know what? Say what you will about TNA, but TNA treated Christian right, did they not? If it's a tribute to Edge's, Edge's sort of last request in the WWE, that's even worse, because, like, the guy's gone, what can you do? It's like, yep, you're out the door, nothing we can do, we did what you said, and now we're taking it back. Now, those are reasons we should be pissed, or that Christian should be pissed, and Edge should be pissed, and so on and so forth. Now I'll tell you why I'm pissed. Now, if Vince McMahon wants any indication as to how much we want Christian to be champion, look at how much the internet went on fire when he lost on SmackDown. But I, although I seem to be part of the minority, once again, am also a huge Randy Orton fan. I will say it again. I will say it until next year's WrestleMania. Orton and Punk was the best match at this year's WrestleMania. Bar none. Deal with it. Orton is going to become the next Shawn Michaels, isn't he? Especially up here in Canada. You know, the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart screwjob back in '97 was a huge thing, and not nearly on the same scale as this. But friggin' Shawn Michaels still has nuclear heat in Canada to this day. Now you look all over the internet right now, Orton is getting nuclear heat for this, for the fact that he was the one that took Christian's title belt off him when WWE decided to take it off him. I'll go back to what Wrestling Jesus said and what his other bald friend, whose name I can't remember, said. You know, everybody did what they were told to do that day. Do we like that Christian lost? Absolutely not. But there's not a damn way in hell you're going to convince me that it's Randy Orton's fault. Let's not make Randy Orton the next Shawn Michaels. That is not fair. If I can even use the word fair in wrestling. So yeah, the Christian screwjob absolutely sucked. It's a slap in his face. It's a slap in Edge's face, who's walked out of the company now because he's injured, contributing so much to the company. And you put a big dark cloud over Randy Orton's head. I hope they're turning him heel, because he couldn't stay face right now if he tried, especially in Canada. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's look at what the hell happened on Raw tonight. Alberto Del Rio came out. Alberto Del Rio was out. They didn't even bother playing the opening entrance to Raw. They just went from that little WWE added logo thing that they do at the beginning right to Alberto Del Rio already being halfway to the ring. I don't like when they do that. It makes anybody that's watching the show on TV feel like they're coming into an already in progress show, which is just not a cool way to kick off the show. It's not you don't get a chance to get amped up. I'm probably not describing that very well at all. I'm sorry, guys. I am redonkulously tired, as I usually am these days when I'm making vids, so I'm sorry for that. Basically comes out and trashes The Rock, trashes Cena, comes out, says what we all know he's going to say. Oh, it's my destiny. My destiny is to get the World Heavyweight title. My destiny is to get the WWE title. My destiny is to have enough gold to melt them down and make myself a golden bathtub, or whatever the fuck he's going to do in his gigantic Mexican house with JBL and a goat. I don't fucking know. So we have Alberto Del Rio, who I can't stand, blabbering on, is the point I'm trying to get at here. Rey Mysterio comes out and says, hey, why don't you and me have a #1 contenders match? Miz, to his eternal credit, comes out and says, I'm the #1 contender for the WWE title. It's mine. You guys can fight in a Taco Bell parking lot for all I care. That's fucking amazing. Then we have the newly reinvigorated R-Truth come out, bashing Morrison, who's not even there, which is amazing. Threatens everybody in the ring without flinching. Now you figure, Rey's there, Alberto Del Rio's there with Ricardo Rodriguez. Miz is there with Alex Riley. So he's sitting there by himself, very by himself, standing up to 5 guys. I know it's pretend and scripted, but that's still really, really effective. And he's sitting there talking about how he's been screwed over and how he got screwed out of the title. And he's eventually interrupted by the general manager, who pisses R-Truth off even more. Makes a triple threat match with Del Rio, Miz, and Rey Mysterio, excluding R-Truth again. Oh yes, I want R-Truth to have at least one title run. Even I don't care if it's another Christian title run. If it's for a day, if it's for 5 minutes, I want R-Truth to hold a world title. I do. I think it'll be amazing, especially with what he's doing now. So in the triple threat main event for tonight, we have Miz, we have Rey Mysterio, who is so fucking over now, it's ridiculous, and Alberto Del Rio, who I've already explained my opinions on. So that is our main event for later tonight. Yay, another triple threat match, another #1 contenders match. Alright, we have something to look forward to there. Bella Twins versus Eve and Kelly Kelly. Absolutely nothing special in this match. The announcers spend this match explaining to the audience what's going to happen in the rest of the show. That's how important this match was. I don't remember who won this match. That's how important this was. Karma comes out at the end. I love what they're doing with Karma. I think it's fucking brilliant. Karma comes out. The Bellas bolt. One of the Bellas is the women's champion, which doesn't make any sense to me because they're the only women's tag team left in the WWE. Which makes even less sense because WWE doesn't have a women's tag team division. But I digress. The Bellas leave. Karma takes down Eve. Kelly bolts off. Eve takes the implant buster, and Karma looks big and powerful and scary, and we go to the commercial break. Mason Ryan versus Kane is the next thing we have on the docket. Mason Ryan versus Kane last week ended in a dramatic display of Mason Ryan showing how powerful he can be by taking out both Kane and the Big Show. Oh yes. Mason Ryan owns Kane through this match until there's bullshit and drama with Big Show on the outside and Nexus on the outside. It ends in a no contest. And Mason Ryan is taken out by a double chokeslam by Kane and the Big Show. But Mason Ryan still looked damn good in this whole segment, and the fact that it took both Kane and the Big Show together, combining their efforts, is a really hard sell on the power and intimidation factor of Mason Ryan, is it not? Next, we have Santino Marella versus Dolph Ziggler, which translates into the slaughter of Santino Marella. Once again, I love Dolph Ziggler. I hope he keeps moving up. There's really nothing else to say there. Ziggler and Morrison are kind of in the same category with me. They will be world champions at one point. Morrison, maybe not so much, but Ziggler will be a world champion one day. And it's just now, we're just waiting for when, really, now. That's a bold statement. I don't really care. I'm making it right now. Ziggler's going to be a world champion. I would, by the end of 2012, at the latest, Dolph Ziggler will be a world champion. My prediction. If we get to December 31st, 2012, first of all, we've escaped the apocalypse. Second of all, if he hasn't been a champion by then, come back, remind me, and I will gladly admit that I am wrong on New Year's Day of 2013. Oh, yes, I will. Flashback to SmackDown about the Christian screwjob with Randy Orton and all that, and they linger on this for a while in the flashback. I don't like what they do with the flashbacks, flashing Raw to SmackDown, SmackDown to Raw. Apparently their statistics show that 70% or something of the audience in the WWE is specific to one show. I don't know how they can be with how much they overlap, but whatever. R-Truth is interviewed backstage where he blames the fans for him not getting anywhere in his career and begins talking about how Alberto Del Rio, Rey Mysterio, and The Miz all need to get got. And we're all left to wonder what that means. The next segment was just, I wanted to turn off my TV. Michael Cole comes out, says he's retiring from wrestling. Oh yes. King comes out into the ring, interrupts him, plays a clip of him being rock bottomed by The Rock last week, says, look, we need to have one more match. I will induct you into the Hall of Fame myself if you win the next match, and I will give you my Hall of Fame ring. But no, Michael Cole goes back into the coal mine and starts talking about the fact that it was Mother's Day, and how his mother and him spent the entire day of Mother's Day watching WrestleMania and watching Michael Cole beat Jerry the King Lawler, which is fine, except he turns to the King, whose mom passed away in February, and says, hey, what did you do with your mom on Mother's Day? So that's super, super classy, isn't it? I'm gonna get to that later. Swagger then comes out and jumps the King, and we go to commercial break. We come back from commercial break, and Swagger has a U.S. title match. Oh, logic lacking hard. I'm glad that Kofi's the U.S. champion. I'm glad he needs to have a belt. He was the Intercontinental champion, and then he left SmackDown. He needs to have a belt. It's true. Match was average. Swagger is not for a long time going to escape the heading of being Michael Cole's stooge, is he? He's still good in the ring, which is kind of sad, because I didn't like him before the Michael Cole thing. I really don't like him now. But I hate to admit that he is good in the ring. He kind of falls into that Del Rio category that way. I don't like Del Rio, but he pulls off some nice stuff in the ring. They have a decent match for the size mismatch, for the style mismatch between Swagger and Kofi Kingston. They have a decent match. King comes back from the back where he was tending to his injuries, distracts Swagger, and Swagger loses his match. Swagger then grabs the microphone, and I'm not quite sure how, but he accepts the King's challenge from Michael Cole. I'm assuming that's going to be it over the limit. They didn't say whether those stipulations were going to be put into effect or what kind of match it was going to be or anything like that. But it's very, very loose that Swagger as a wrestler and as a trainer, so to speak, can accept a match on Michael Cole's behalf. Weird. So yeah, I'm assuming it over the limit. We're going to have Cole King 3. Are you excited? Because I know I'm not. This better be fucking over soon. Coincidentally, Josh Matthews was on this whole show tonight, and throughout all the commentator drama, has not the one shining light at the commentator booth been Josh Matthews? That has to be said. Alberto Del Rio, Rey Mysterio, and The Miz have their number one contender triple threat match. Alex Riley comes out. Oh, I missed an entire friggin' section before the Cole thing, because that took up a lot of my paper here. Miz is berating Alex Riley in the back. Riley gets all pissed off, storms out to the ring, calls out Cena. Cena and Alex Riley have a good little match. I mean, Super Cena wins, but Alex Riley holds up his own shtick without Miz there, by himself, with the guy who's currently holding the world title, which was kind of cool. I mean, he didn't win. Of course he's not going to win. He's a sidekick character, and he's going up against John Cena. He didn't win, but he looked good in the match. I'm going to say that. Sorry, that happened way before the Michael Cole shit. But, I digress. Triple threat match happens. Alex Riley interferes. Typical Miz and Alex Riley bullshit. Quick roll up on Rey Mysterio, and The Miz is your winner. Cena comes out to let The Miz know that this is going to be an I Quit match, which will be. I'm withholding my judgment on that because I don't know what my opinion on that is just yet. But at the end of that, we go off the air to the image of Truth doing a massive attack on Rey Mysterio, and we zoom out and fade out on R-Truth sort of going nuts in the ring again. So that is the rundown of Raw, if I can say it very, very loosely, and if you've stayed with me through all my mumbling and rambling and being tired, I thank you very much. We've got the Shrines, the Fail, and the MVP, and then I can go to bed. Isn't that awesome? Alright, the Shine. This was another one of those nights on Raw that showcased all the new young guys in a really, really great light. Kofi Kingston got a chance to shine. Dolph Ziggler got a chance to shine, even though it was against Santino, who nobody takes seriously. He still got a good, decent amount of time on the show tonight. Alex Riley, like I said, had a great showing, if you can call it that, against John Cena. And I mean, to have The Miz and Alberto Del Rio, even though I don't like him, both chasing the WWE title is great for the guys that are going to be here in 2 years, the guys that are going to be here in 5 years. I mean, Rey Mysterio was there in the mix, but we can ignore that. I didn't think he was going to win. I'm sure there's a lot of little kids out there with their plastic masks on and such that hope Rey Mysterio is going to win. I am not one of them. But whatever. Yeah, really, really good night for the young talent. That's all that. I'm gonna keep tossing a score on to what they're doing with R-Truth until until my opinion changes. But the rage, the sort of dementia, the demented nature of what he's doing, I think he's pulling off amazingly well. I think everything he did promo-wise in the first segment of the show tonight was fucking brilliant. He was rude, he was crude, he had the crowd negatively in the palm of his hand at the beginning of this show tonight. He was in a ring with The Miz and Alex Riley, Alberto Del Rio, Ricardo Rodriguez, and he was the biggest heel there. And considering how much heat those other four have collected over the past year or so, that has to be acknowledged. Even if you don't like R-Truth, and I know most of you out there that are watching my videos don't, but you can't deny tonight's contribution, that first segment where he came in and just sort of took his shots at everybody. He had it right there. Now, is he going to keep it? I don't know, but he had it tonight. The match with Alex Riley and Cena, I really love. Okay, granted, he's still in the sidekick role with The Miz. I like that he was out there on his own with somebody, especially against somebody like Cena, because it tells me that somewhere along the way he's going to have some kind of career detached from The Miz. Now, is it going to take another year or so? Maybe, but whatever. Now, here's one that falls into the category of both a score and a fail, and I want to know your opinion on this one. I love the way they are pushing Mason Ryan in the Nexus. They're making him stand out from the Nexus. They're almost making him stand out from CM Punk, which, if you know my opinion of CM Punk, is a feat unto itself. The way that they're using Big Show and Kane properly to make this guy look strong, look like a fucking beast. It works, and it's working quite well. The only reason this also fits into my fail category is it's a carbon copy of what they're doing with Ezekiel Jackson on SmackDown. They're doing the same push, they're doing the same make him stand out from his group, and they're using the same two big guys to put him over. Is it working well with Ezekiel Jackson? Absolutely. Is it working well with Mason Ryan? Absolutely. All I want to see right now is Mason Ryan and Ezekiel Jackson somehow team up and go against Big Show and Kane for the Tag Team Championships. Does it make any sense? No, but it's the only place where the logic leads. The problem with it being, and I'll say it for the core, and I'll say it with the Nexus, if you got this one guy, neither Ezekiel Jackson or Mason Ryan are in a leadership role in their groups. So what does it say for Wade Barrett? What does it say for CM Punk? And what does it say for the other members of the group? They're totally overshadowed by these two behemoths that are having such a push put behind them. They're both really, really effective. It's just that they're carbon copies of each other, and I do not like at all when Raw and SmackDown become mirror images of each other. We see it enough on pay-per-views. We don't need to see it week to week. That's all I'm going to say on that. I really didn't like, we all know that there is very, the respect that anybody has left for the Divas division is hanging on a thread if that thread has not been plucked already. They spent the entire Divas tag team match tonight promoting the rest of the show. And it's like, okay, you're talking about the rest of the show. You don't care. You guys are the ones that are paid to care about what's going on in the ring, and you don't. I'm going to go grab a coffee. That's how that makes you look. And say what you will about the Divas, you know, they're not that great. It's not real wrestling. You know, they're kind of catfighting around and being Barbie dolls and whatever and whatnot, except for Karma. But they're still out there. They're still trying to get a paycheck. So toss them a freaking bone. Give them, like, acknowledge that they're in the ring at least. There's a lack of respect there on some level. Now, biggest fail of tonight was Cole's entire fucking segment. And I'm going to break it down into 3 sections for you. Cole having a false retirement this close after Edge's legitimate retirement with his neck injuries or whatever, that can't sit well. King bringing in not only the Hall of Fame but his Hall of Fame ring into the stipulations, into the storyline. You can't think anybody that is actually in the WWE Hall of Fame feels good about that at all. I mean, it's one thing for Hulk Hogan to do it in TNA because he's already told WWE to go fuck itself, more or less. But King is still right there, so I don't know. And, you know, I've already said it once, but I'll say it again. The whole... Anytime King goes and rags on the fact that Lawler's mom passed away is just... Nothing needs to be said about that. It's distasteful as fuck. WWE is supposed to be all PG now and shit, and I do not know how they legitimize anything that happened in the Cole segment tonight as being PG. Whatever. MVP, I was going to leave it until I was done, until I actually got to this point in the video, but I'm going to stick with what I've got written down. My MVP for tonight is Alex Riley. MVP for May 9th, 2011 is Alex Riley, purely because he's been in such a minor character since he came to the WWE, and for him to go out, you know, quote-unquote on his own and have a good sitting couple of minute match with John Cena was more than I expected to see from him. I expected him to just get slaughtered, but he didn't. He was actually quite good, and I actually did pay attention to that match tonight. So yeah, Alex Riley for May 9th, 2011. That is the review for May 9th, 2011. I have been Spaz. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Let me know what you think. Don't be a stranger, and I will talk to you later.